welcome to another edition of Flea Market Fantasy, the world's second greatest Bronze Age era comic book podcast. Joining me, as always, is new Mike L, Kevin Jank.
I'm here, the podcaster who wears shirts.
Yes. Because today we are reading The Phantom, issue 67 from 1975, and his nickname is The Ghost Who Walks.
That's right.
The Ghost Who Walks.
As opposed to that one ghost that Dan Aykroyd met in Ghostbusters. That was the ghost who blows.
That was a completely different thing. Yeah. But yeah, the Phantom, it's I've always known it as a comic strip in the newspaper growing up as a kid. Of course, nowadays there aren't even newspapers. That's how old I am. But did you have any experience with the Phantom, Jank?
I've never read it. I knew of the Billy Zane movie from the 90s.
1996. Billy Zane.
Yeah.
The Phantom. I've never seen it.
I don't know if I've ever seen the whole thing all the way through. One of those movies.
But I'm sure everyone will be familiar with the Phantom. He's a guy dressed in the all-purple outfit with the black domino mask, and he's got a couple guns on his underpants. Yeah, his striped underpants, yeah.
Yeah, what a look.
And he has like a skull on his belt buckle, I think, and he wears a skull ring. And so we'll get all into the Phantom's history and everything about him here in a minute. But before we do, Jack, let's remind everybody, if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We're up to 214 subscribers. I believe that's an increase of 3 from last week. So
pretty good.
Yeah.
And remember, get us up to 500 and we'll do Dark Knight Month.
That's right. Because it's one thing I love, Batman.
Yep.
And
you like Frank Miller, so it might balance out.
We've got to take a moment, though, to acknowledge one of the shining lights of the Flea Army. There's a fella named Mr. Spider 49er who is going. Yeah, he's going through. He's watching every episode of the show, and he's liking, he's commenting, he's doing it all. This guy,
wow.
Yeah. I told him he's probably going to win the first Medal of Honor. For the Flea Army.
When you do the next Flea Awards, that'll have to be like a special Lifetime Achievement Award for him or something.
It's pretty impressive. We need more people like Mr. Spider 49er. Let's go. Let's rally the troops.
Yeah.
And maybe one day you'll hear me talk about Batman.
We can only hope.
Yes.
For an entire month.
All right. So the Phantom, Jank. He was a comic strip created by Lee Falk, no relation to Peter Falk. I know you were going to ask that. Yeah. Falk wasn't even this guy's real name. He had changed it to Lee Falk. But the comic strip first appeared as a daily strip on February 17th, my birthday, 1936. And then a Sunday colored... Yeah, I'm very old.
36.
A Sunday colored strip followed on March 28th, 1939. Both strips are still running today.
Whoa.
So if you have a newspaper, I have no idea. If you live in a city, one of the rare cities that still makes a newspaper, the Phantom's probably in there.
So these can't be new stories, right? They're just reprinting the old ones over and over ad nauseum.
I have no idea.
How many pirates and Nazis can you fight before you're like, oh, we've done everything?
In 1966, the Phantom appeared in 583 newspapers worldwide. And at its peak, it was being read by 100 million people each day. Now that stat has no basis in reality. It's just how many newspapers. They have no idea how many people are reading a comic strip. But it sounds good in a press release.
You're there for the sports section, yeah.
Yes. So, it had access to 100 million people every day, I guess. But 12 were reading it. But...
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have access to this podcast.
No, unless
many of them are actually putting it on.
Go. Billions of people worldwide are listening to this podcast every day. All right, Falk worked on the strip until his death in 1999 at the age of 87. How about that?
Oh.
And the Phantom is basically a superhero who protects the African nation of Bangalla. And for you geography quizzes out there, that's a fictional country. It doesn't exist.
Now, here's the big question on my mind. Is there something special about this place? Like, why have this family devoted their entire lineage for generations to protecting this place? Is there, Holy Grail is there and they're protecting it or something. A stockpile of adamantium. I don't know.
It's like how I protect Greensburg, Pennsylvania. I was born here. It's my duty. So I go out on the streets and I bring justice to the civilians of Greensburg. Yeah, it's like, maybe we'll get into that in a second. Let's keep talking here. The Phantom was basically a line of superheroes. It's not one superhero. Yeah. So it started way back in 1536 when a British sailor named Christopher Walker became the Phantom to avenge his father, who was killed during a pirate attack.
That'd be cooler if it was Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walker. And since then, the legacy has been passed down from father to son. So I guess he started it, and then he had a baby boy, and he said, "Hey, baby boy, you got to do it now too." And they just grow, they just do the family business. So
that's weird. You avenged everybody that killed your family. Why are you still protecting this place all this years later? You got to figure the next guy's why am I doing this? Can't I just go to college or something?
My daddy told me to do it. My dad told me to do it. And I got to do it. So the Phantom has no superpowers. He carries 2 guns, a revolver and a .45 automatic, and on each hip. That's pretty cool that one's an automatic, one's a revolver. It's interesting little detail. And the natives believe him to be immortal, and he's known as the ghost who walks. And he lives in Skull Cave. The cave that looks like a skull. And apparently all he does is just sit in a throne in Skull Cave.
Yeah, telling stories. Hey, you want to hear about how my dad died?
That's all he does. He's got a wife, so I guess they make the sweet, sweet love, and then he sits in his throne, and that's his day. And then he goes out and beats up the pirates.
Waits till pirates show up, yeah. Then, yep. Rinse, repeat.
How does he make money? I guess, does he just live on pirate booty, buried gold coins and stuff? He just
maybe. Or he just has all the Bengali tribesmen paying him. This is a protection racket.
How does he occupy his days?
I guess he's got to keep them skills sharp. Time in the danger room.
Because he doesn't even have an alter ego. He's not going to the Daily Bugle to take photographs like Peter Parker,
That's right.
He's just sitting in that cave in his Phantom outfit 24/7.
That thing's got to stink to high heaven.
Yet he's still got a wife somehow.
Yeah, she does not look Bengali, so where did he get her from?
Yeah. So I don't know. But each Phantom wears the same skull ring, and he takes the oath of the skull. And that oath is as follows, Jack.
Okay, I like a good oath.
I swear to devote my life to the destruction of piracy, greed, cruelty, and injustice in all their forms, and my sons and their sons shall follow me. So there you see, you're locked in,
That's not as good as the Green Lantern oath.
I like the Doc Savage motto as well. That was a good one. But I like that the first thing is piracy. He's cracking down on pirates.
Yeah. When Napster came around, he was the first one to jump on there and be like, no, knock this off. You pay for the songs.
The Phantom we're reading about today, the modern Phantom, his name is Kit Walker. And he's the
family of names.
And he's the 21st Phantom, and he is married to Diana Palmer, and they have 2 kids, Kit and Heloise. So that's nice. He also had
2 daughters, them.
Yeah. Oh, well, there was a brief time where there was a lady Phantom, her brother was the other Phantom, and he got injured or something, so she filled in for a mission or 2.
Oh, okay. That would have been great if it was like this one where, he fills in for his dad and they just don't notice the difference.
You grew breasts.
Yeah.
What happened? This Phantom, he also has a wolf named Devil and a horse named Hero. Devil and Hero.
All right.
Just interesting. I defend Greensburg. I had a cat named Sydney. Sadney.
Yeah, the wolf seemed like a weird choice for the jungle. Normally, I feel like they're in more Arctic climates, not so much the jungle.
Yeah, like maybe a lion.
A tiger or
yeah.
leopard, something like that.
But he's got a wolf and a horse. So. Better
than his son, who just had like a turtle.
The Phantom was the first fictional hero to wear a skin-tight outfit and a mask with no visible pupils. Two staples of superherodom. And we all know on this here podcast that the first superhero, who, Jake?
Batman.
Doc Savage.
Doc Savage. Yeah, whatever.
1933.
He doesn't even wear a costume.
That's right. He did not wear a costume, but the Phantom was the first guy to wear a costume. So he's kind of like the bridge between Doc Savage and the pulp heroes to the standard superheroes of your Superman and your Batman, who came in like 1938 and whatever. So, yeah. So he's like the bridge between the two. So the Phantom serves a very important role in comic book history.
Yeah.
That's true. I had no idea.
Like a lot of pioneers, it definitely got better from there.
During the 1940s, the strips were reprinted in Ace Comics. Harvey Comics published them and published the Phantom in the 1950s. Then Gold Key took over in 1962, followed by King Comics in 1966 and Charlton in 1967. And then this Charlton series ran for 74 issues and it ended in 1977. So that's his comic book history. Also, Jank, in 1988, DC published a 4-issue miniseries of the Phantom. And that was written by a guy named Peter David.
Oh, we should have read that one. That would have been a lot better.
That's exactly why I did not do that.
Oh, man.
And then in 1989, DC had an ongoing series, The Phantom, and that ran for 13 issues.
Wow. Yeah, that clearly was not as big a market for the Phantom as they were anticipating.
Marvel published a 4-issue limited series in 1987 written by Stan Lee. How about that? And then another 3-issue limited series in 1995. So yeah, the Phantom was bouncing around. And as we mentioned earlier, the movie came out in 1996. The Phantom. It was not successful.
No, yeah, I feel like that was one of those early kind of attempts at superheroes, like The Shadow that Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, well, because Batman came out in '89, and that kind of people said, "Oh, we should rip that off." So you got your Shadow, you got your Phantom, yeah.
Dick Tracy, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit. So, all right, the writer here is a guy named Joe Gill. He was born in 1919 in Scranton, PA.
Hey.
He died in 2006 at the age of 87. He started writing for Timely Comics during the 1940s, and of course Timely was Marvel, but early. He was a U.S. Navy radio operator during World War II. He joined Charlton Comics in the 1950s, and he became their primary staff writer for the next 30 years. So, yeah, he did a bunch of stuff at Charlton. Just this guy wrote like thousands and thousands and thousands of comic books. So.
Yeah. Back then, they used to just work you like crazy. Now people have a hard time getting like one book out a month.
The artist for this is Don Newton. He was born in 1934 in St. Charles, Virginia. He died in 1984 at the age of just 49. That's my age right now, Jack. It's sad. And he broke in with Charlton before moving to DC and Marvel. He drew issues 67, 68, 70, 71, 73, and 74 of The Phantom. He did just a handful of issues at Marvel, but his notable works at DC included 79 various Batman stories across all the various Batman titles, including Batman, Brave and the Bold, Detective Comics, and other Batman nonsense. So, did a lot of Batman. But hey, get a load of this, though, Jack.
Back then, people love Batman. You got to get on board, Mike Dell.
We'll get a load of this. He was going to start as the regular penciler on Infinity Inc. when he had his massive heart attack and died.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Open the door for Todd McFarlane.
So his final work appeared in issue 13 of Infinity Inc. Like they included a handful of pages that he did, and then they finished up the issue. So
wow, what are the chances that we?
I know we just did Infinity Inc. last week.
Yeah.
Very odd, but all right. So that's the creative team here behind this book. Anything else about the Phantom, Jack?
That Billy Zane sure was dreamy.
So
Quoting Larry on this one.
Let's look at the cover. It's a beautiful painted cover by Newton. He did the cover.
The cover was great. I can't really argue with the cover too much. Everything else maybe, but not the cover.
How dare you?
We got the little Charlton Comics logo. I think that's a new one for us over there in the top left. It's kind of like a bullseye, like an orange ring. This is Charlton at the top, Comics at the bottom, and like a blue ring in the middle, and then kind of like a triangle shape stabbing into the center bullseye part of it. It says 25 cents.
Yeah, I guess the little black dart there or whatever also makes the orange ring into a C for Charlton Comics. Yeah. So interesting little design.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't hate it. And it says all new, the Phantom. And the O of the Phantom has a little skull logo inside of it where the space is.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. We got a little corner box guy of the Phantom. He looks extra pink there, and his like blue stripy underpants look even weirder there. But then we get the painted cover, like you said, which is really nice looking. It's kind of an orange sky with like a giant skull in the background. I guess it's the specter of death looming over this guy right here. He ain't gonna make it. And then we got the Phantom just kind of posing with his, arms going into his hips. And he's got his little wolf friend by his feet there. And, they're just getting ready for action.
Yep. Yeah. Devil the wolf.
Hero the horse.
Yeah, I like this cover a lot. That's one of the reasons why I picked this issue. It's a swell cover. And all right, so we open it up and we see this issue is called Triumph of Evil. And we get a little narration here. When the heavily armed slavers raided the Bengali village, jungle drums throbbed, and in Skull Cave the Phantom heard the news. Astride Hero, with Devil, his giant wolf, racing ahead, the Phantom caught up with the vicious traffickers in human misery. Yeah. So you see the Phantom beating up these slave traders, Yeah. Conking their heads together.
Yeah.
Like a Three Stooges episode. And then he's firing his guns, but here he's got two automatics. What the hell?
Yeah, they look pretty much the same there. Yeah.
I was told he had a revolver and an automatic. I like that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I was misinformed.
Maybe that was a later edition.
Yeah.
Like, what if you mix this up a little bit?
So, it's probably one of the previous 20 Phantoms had a revolver. This guy's got just automatics. So, yeah, he's chasing off the slavers, and the Bengali natives are all celebrating. And Diana, his foxy brunette wife, is clinging on to him. And she's like, "Oh, Phantom, you're so great."
Yeah. Apparently the tribes people have no compunctions about he's clearly married to this woman. Like they don't realize, if he was really a ghost, he probably wouldn't be married to a lady.
Well, it's not like they call him the ghost who walks, but it's not like they think he's a ghost. They think he's just immortal.
Okay.
Because the guys always, die and then the son takes over and they just apparently look exactly alike. I don't know.
Yeah. They're exactly the same height every time.
My dad died at 68. I look nothing like if I were to take over being my dad, people would notice.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. My dad still has all his hair.
But these Phantoms, apparently they all look exactly alike. They reach the age of 21 and then they don't change. They stay the same size and everything. But his wife was like, "Yes, darling, thanks to you, everything's great." So then they show him in his cave, and again he's brooding on his throne of skulls.
Yeah. Seems to be just made of rock, so that's got to be bad on the old hemorrhoids.
And his loyal wolf Devil is sitting there next to him. Man, this really is a lot like me and Sydney back in the day here in Greensburg.
Yeah.
But
you also sit on the skull.
Skulls. So he's talking to his wife there, and I don't know, what are they saying here, Jank? That
she's like something wrong, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just thinking about the future and the past." And for some reason, he decides now is the time, even though it seems like they've been married for a while, he's going to tell her about the whole death of his father. I guess he's going to open up about that.
Again, it's just so weird that he's married. Like, he's like in his Phantom outfit in his cave. Like, do you think the little lady likes living in a cave? And she's like, hey, Phantom, can't we go out dancing or something tonight? You know? Let's go out. No.
Like a real bed instead, something that's made of rock and has skulls on the end of it.
I must sit on my throne of skulls. Speak a nut. I mean, he definitely seems like a bachelor. He should not be married to Phantom. He has a very unique life.
I mean, this is sad that this guy can get more ladies than either of us. Like,
this guy. He's out protecting the Bangalla village. And, still gets it done. All right, so he's talking to his wife about the history of being the Phantom. And he's worried that, hey, one day I'm going to meet some villain who's tougher than me, stronger than me, younger than me, quicker than me, and he's going to kill me. Yeah. And even though these natives think that I'm immortal, I'm just a man. And she's like, oh, yeah, I know. You're all man, Phantom. And he starts telling the story about his dad. And so that's another reason why I picked this issue, because we get the whole history here of the Phantom. And he just says how he used to study and everything. And I think he's talking about his old man, right? And how his old man.
His old man sent him to study. Like, he learned to use every weapon to fly. I studied engineering and law, even medicine. I never wasted a moment because I knew soon my time would come.
So now we're going in flashback, and the panels of the borders of the panels are all like a little bit wavy, so we know we're in flashbacks. And he recounts a story of his old man evading a guy who was going to kill him, and he shot the guy.
And apparently this kid guy was just waiting in the shadows like, hey, Dad, that was great. Good job. Good thing you didn't die. Because I wasn't going to do anything about it.
And we see Kit studying in a big book of phantoms, I guess. He's studying his big book of phantoms. And then we see him next to his dad sitting in his skull throne. And again, his dad looks exactly like Kit when he's sitting in the throne. And then we get the full story way back in the day of the guy who killed his dad, and he's devoting my life to destruction of piracy, greed, and cruelty. Mm-hmm. That's how we get the old Phantom. Now we cut over to some bad guys, though, Jack.
Uh-oh.
They're on a submarine or something.
Yeah. Turns out they're Nazis.
Oh, man. It's always them damn Nazis.
Always the Nazis.
But they want to, just pillage Bengali. But
apparently there's a bunch of uranium there or something, I think, and they wanted to get their hands on that so they could build some more nukes. I don't know.
But they know they got to get through the Phantom, so they're gonna run a little trap here to catch the Phantom and then kill him.
Yeah.
And but one of the Bengali villagers sees the submarine out there and he starts beating the drums. So Phantom and Devil, they hear the drums, and again, this is Kit's dad. We're telling this story.
Yeah, Kit's just related this to his wife for the first time.
So we see Kit's dad going in, and he snags one of the villagers because he was going to stumble into the Nazis, and he's like, "No, look, buddy!" Look. He just drops a rope down and plucks him out of the ground.
Yeah. Seems like a risky maneuver, but I don't know.
Well, then he pulls him up. He's like, look, Nazis, we got to be quiet. And then he tells him, hey, you go tell your buddies, to get ready. I need 50 brave men. Tell them to hide themselves near the foreigner's base. Wait for my signal. And the little tribesman, he goes, I go, oh ghost who walks. Yeah, they'll love him.
I'd be like, hey, just Phantom's good. Like, that's going to take too long to say that every time.
If I'm the Bengali guy, I'd be like, hey, Ghosty Walks, why do you need 50 of us? Like, you're the Phantom. There's only like 5 or 6 of them. You should be able to take them out.
Yeah.
Go, Phantom.
Where's your automatic gun? You could probably do it if you had that.
So we see the bad guys. They're cooking up a steam. They brought, like, this real guy who's a real ace at killing people. This guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of like the old timey version of Gronkowski. It looks like.
Rob Gronkowski?
Yeah. He's big. He's kind of dumb. Kind of a big lunk.
All right. I thought you were going for like a killer. No, I was going to say Gronkowski never murdered. That was Aaron Hernandez. But no, Gronkowski, yeah.
I mean, he tried to murder someone at the Tom Brady roast. He like spiked a drink and like apparently a shard of glass like flew into a lady's cheek in the front row.
Oh no. I hope she's suing him for all he's worth. But so yeah, the Phantom's getting ready, but they got this killer guy, and they're gonna make a trap for the Phantom, and then this killer guy's gonna kill the Phantom. So
yeah,
that's what they're doing. And even though the Phantom was
better than just a big guy with muscles, but I don't know.
Yeah, they had every chance in the world to kill the Phantom, and they really botched it.
Yep.
I mean, they still got him eventually, but
yeah,
it could have been way easier.
So, sure would have been.
So the Phantom is sneaking around their camp, and I guess that's all their trap was to just have a camp and then wait for the Phantom to sneak in and sneak up behind him and conk him in the back of the head with the club, because that's exactly what they did. That doesn't seem like much of a plan or a trap. But I don't know.
Yeah, you think they would set up like a log or something, he trips it and it swings into him something, but nope, just we're going to wait till he shows up and then we'll get him.
Yeah, and again, this makes the Phantom look like a goof. Like he can't sneak into a camp without getting caught, and then he doesn't notice the guy sneaking up behind him. Come on, Phantom, what are we doing?
It really didn't have to do with him being too old. It was just he was being an idiot, apparently. Like, he doesn't know how to do stealth.
So even though they conked him on the back of the head and knocked him out, they take him inside to the tent of the main Nazi here, and he's got a gun on him. And he's, oh wait, do you want to do the German reading here, Jack?
So you are the Phantom. It was simple to trap you. Perhaps you are not immortal, Phantom. Perhaps you are growing old.
Oh, yeah, I guess it is. He still looks real jacked and young, though. So yeah. He should have a beer belly, a little.
Yeah.
Sunken chest.
Never change. Never change.
So they're like, hey, bind him, tie him up there, and so tomorrow we shall see to his demise. Why don't you just shoot him right there?
Shoot him now.
Why'd you even let him wake up? Why don't you conk him in the back of the head? Just keep conking him in the head till he crushed the skull.
Yeah. Yep, but they're going the Batman villain route. We're going to put him in a death trap. He's easily escapable death trap.
Their death trap is basically just tying him to a tree.
Yeah. And then when day breaks, then they're going to have him fight this guy.
Yeah, they untie him
so
he can fight the Rob Gronkowski guy. And and that guy doesn't really, I mean, he looks big and thick, but he doesn't look like that intimidating, you know?
No, yeah, he's kind of like, yeah, he's a little barrel chested, but he's not like jacked or anything. He's kind of got a gut going a little bit. He's kind of like John Goodman, I guess, kind of. He's big, but.
I mean, he's balding, you know? He's got a little double chin going there, you know?
So. Go for sure.
Yeah. He looks like he'll gas out in about 30 seconds of physical activity.
Yeah.
I think the Phantom could have outlasted him. So while the Nazi guy's talking to the Phantom, and he's like, hey, your hour is at hand, Phantom, my man. No. He's not talking jive. He says, your hour is at hand, Phantom, period. My man, Billy Besser, is going to kill you.
It's better to the first way, yeah.
Phantom,
man.
And the Phantom says, or I will kill him and you. And he says, one more thing, Phantom. And Phantom just has his hands on his hip.
Yeah. He's just posing.
He's like, I'm listening. And then the Nazi says, just this, you are a fool, because the guy comes up behind him and elbows him in the back of the neck. And then the other Nazi leans in, he goes, Willy will kill him with his bare hands, Herr Vorster. Watch. So now we get like a montage of a fight scene between these two. And the Phantom meets a kick to the face, then he catches the guy's leg, and he just starts teeing off on him.
Yeah. Crack, right in the face.
He's giving it to him good, Jank, but then what does Billy do?
I guess he throws a rock at his head. Looks like.
So whips a rock in the Phantom, hits him right in the head, and drops him. Yeah, that seems like cheating, you know. But
hey, I mean, we learned in Jonah Hex, you use what you have.
Your tomahawk breaks, you use a Bowie knife. So then the guy says, "Now, Billy, kill the Phantom." So Billy pulls out a knife. Pulls out a Bowie knife, and he gets down. He's about to stab the Phantom in the throat with his knife. And the Phantom's looking up, and he's like, "Oh my God!" And he's thinking to himself, "In a second, a legend that has endured for 4 centuries will die unless I can do this." And he punches the guy.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
And now the other Nazis finally get the bright idea, maybe we should shoot this guy. And they just shoot him right in the back.
Yeah, they break the story up into part 2, Death of a Legend. And yeah, so they just shoot him in the back while he's trying to run away. And then, that's pages in the scan twice. All right. And then,
yes.
So, maybe 3 times.
I want to show all the detail.
So yeah, they shoot him, and that Billy guy's getting to his feet finally, and he's like, "Where is he?" And he's like, "He went in the jungle. Go in there and finish him." So the Phantom's in the jungle, but he's done, you know? He's just lying on his back in the jungle, all dead. And that Billy says, there you are. And he still has his knife. So he's going to go over and carve him up, but good. But while this is all happening, Jank, what's been going on elsewhere?
Apparently Kit had been on his way home to Bangalla when the Nazis landed. The same jungle telegraph that warned my father was heard at the trading post I listened to. I borrowed a fast horse, and so he's riding there on a horse. He's going to the Skull Cave, getting on a spare outfit, and he gets on his horse and rides over there. He's like, ha. And he jumps out of the bushes right at that moment when this Billy guy is about to kill the other Phantom, and he jumps in and kicks him, apparently, ruining the surprise or the fact that there are 2 Phantoms right here, so I think they would know.
Yeah, well, they think this is just the same Phantom who's recovered, you know. But
yeah, but I mean, he's right in front of him. He's laying there on the ground in front of him.
Yeah, but apparently Billy's not
from the other side, like, yeah.
Well, Billy doesn't live much longer, so maybe if he lived longer,
true. Yeah,
he would have been able to tell.
If you kill all these guys, yeah, legend can live on.
But the other guys would have no idea at this point. But yeah, so he kicks Billy out of the bushes there, and then he says, "Now, Nazi, we shall see who dies." And the Nazi with the gun says, "Move, Billy, move to one side." And Kit, the new Phantom, just cracks him in the face. And then the Nazi says, "You know what, screw it, I'm just going to shoot anyway." And
chance.
And it started raining too by this point, so visibility wasn't the best. And he shoots Billy in the chest and kills him. So
the captain does not like that.
Yeah.
Billy, you shot Billy.
So then Kit jumps into the underbrush there to get away from them, and then he just gets on his horse and he tells the Bengali? Yeah, the Bengali fellas. He's like, you round up and you keep those Nazis where they are with all your men. You know, and then he goes off and he sabotages their submarine. Like he goes swimming out.
Dynamite. Yeah.
And then he gets on a raft and he goes away from the submarine, and then he shoots the dynamite from a distance to ignite the explosion. So the submarine blows up. And then after all that is done, then he finally goes back to help the Bengali beat up the rest of the Nazis.
Hey, it's his first day. He just started.
Why not just beat up all the Nazis right away when you're right there? And then go get the submarine. Seems weird.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't know.
So that's what they do, Jank. And he's like, "Warriors, follow me." And he leads them into combat. And the 2 main Nazis, they escape, and they're going through the jungle. Yeah, what's their fate here, Jank?
They are going across the swamp, and then we hear the Phantom's little narration. At the edge of Crocodile Swamp, I halted. My father had taken me there once. When I heard the coughing snarl of the bull crocodiles, then the agony-filled scream, I knew. Yeah, they got eaten by crocodiles.
Yep.
Those filthy Nazis got eaten by crocodiles.
And he tells the Bengali guy with him, he's like, no, we don't have to hunt for them. The jungle creatures will do our work for us. And then the Bengali guy says, forgive me, Ghost Who Walks. We did you dishonor. For a time, we thought you were a man like ourselves. Because, like, he doesn't know he's talking to a new phantom, you know?
Yeah.
We feared we had lost our friend, our protector. No, Goran, I will always be with you. Now, take the prisoners to the police. I will
Unless
speak
I die right now when I don't have a son yet, then, you know, it's on your own.
I have a duty to perform. And now we see him pick up his old man, and he carries him out to another place, not Skull Cave. What is this place called? The City of Zarb?
Yeah.
In the Burial Cavern of Kings. So whenever a phantom dies, the next phantom has to take that dead phantom to the City of Zarb in the Burial Cavern.
Coffin.
Yeah, they got them all lined up there. These granite coffins. And he takes the skull ring off his dad's hand and puts it on his own. And then he buries his old man alongside the other phantoms.
Yep.
And we cut back to the present day, and Kit is talking to, and we see Diana weeping at his story.
Yep. He's like, oh crap, I'm gonna have a kid with this guy.
Yeah.
That kid go through all this.
Yeah, I guess they don't have kids at this point, or because
I don't know. We don't see the kids. We just see them cuddling in the next panel, and the wolf's there, but I don't see any kids.
Yeah, so this is all just an elaborate way to say, hey, I got to put a baby in you. You know, you gotta hold up your
child, and child.
So we see, the final photo is or the image is them. It's a documentary, and we see the Phantom and Diana. She's wearing a purple dress, and they're standing there overlooking the jungle. And we see the Bengali people down there in the distance, and we see Wolf the Demon the Wolf, Wolf the Demon. And the narration says, the Phantom stands silently like a resolute sentry as his people, the Bendari. Oh,
we were wrong the whole time.
So Bengali is the name of the place, but the people are the Bendari.
Huh. That's an odd choice.
Yeah. I guess that's the same name as the country, actually.
Bengali or something like that.
Anyway, as his people, the Bendari, start a feast in honor of their hero who has once more proved his immortality. Now, the other reason I picked this, Jank, that's the end of the interview.
I bet I know why. The next page.
Tell the people.
Well, next up is the letter page. And as with most comic books, there's a little clever title for it. And they call the Phantom's letter page the Monkey Mail. There's a picture of a chimp swinging around with a mailbag.
Yes. It's the best. Monkey Mail.
I knew this would be your favorite part of the issue right here.
Oh, so happy when I saw this. Monkey Mail. Maybe we'll start a new segment here on the show.
The original version.
Yes. Send us your questions and we'll read them in the Monkey Mail segment of the show. All right, there it is, the Phantom. What'd you think of that, Jank?
Oh boy. This felt like Golden Age.
Yes, it very much did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird because this was from 1975, yet it felt like it was written in the 30s.
It sure did. They did not evolve over the years, at least up until this point. So yeah, it was pretty rough. The artwork also looks very kind of Golden Agey. It's simple and effective, I guess, but not the kind of thing that really draws me in for sure. And the storytelling was fine. It seems like every issue is kind of going to be the same thing. I mean, not telling the story of his father every issue, but
lots of
it
pirates.
seems like it's very limited and the types of stories you can tell.
Yeah, you're just stuck on this island and like the dangers always have to come in from outside, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I flipped through a lot of issues and there were a lot of pirates.
None of the dialogue seemed particularly good. It was all just kind of really basic.
It's very, like you said, Golden Agey, where like they're kind of describing what's happening a lot of the times. Even.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not the best, but I enjoyed it. I liked learning about the Phantom. Like, I had no idea his backstory. Like, did you have any concept of, like, it was a legacy superhero thing, like, passed down? I had no idea.
I don't think I did, actually. Yeah, no. Definitely not that it went back as far as it did. I could see, like, maybe it was a Dread Pirate Roberts thing where there had been one or two before him, but I didn't know it went back, centuries.
And again, I am just fascinated with his wife and their marriage. I just I don't know how they make it work.
Those two crazy kids can make it work. Maybe there's hope for the rest of us.
I mean, that seems like something she'd be into for like a couple of weeks, It'd be great fun for a couple of weeks,
Yeah. Like maybe he saved her and then she's like, oh, this is kind of cool. But then
maybe come in the summers, just for like spend a week with them or something.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I got to get back to civilization.
Start accommodations on that skull bed.
Yeah. So I'll send you letters in the monkey mail. Well,
yeah. Maybe if you ever feel like leaving the cave and, getting out of that costume, maybe we can hang out.
I like the Phantom, though. It's pretty cool because he's very pulpy in terms of his here, like with the guns and everything. That's a Shadow thing, having the guns. And
oh, yeah.
So I like the Phantom, but this issue itself, though.
Costume's cool. I'll give it that. It is a good-looking costume.
But maybe just this issue, like a 6? Somewhere on
there? I think I'd give it like a 4. That's probably as high as I can go.
Do I have to remind you of Monkey Mail?
Monkey Mail gets probably all 4 of those points.
How dare you. How dare you. It's a quaint little story. I enjoyed it for what it was, but yeah. It could have been plot, like I said, about the stuff with him coming back and telling the Bendari just to watch the Nazis while he goes in. There's just some logical things that didn't make sense in terms of
build the guy right away. Yeah, a lot of that stuff. I don't know. It definitely did have that old school kind of pulp feel, but unlike things like the Whistler, that radio show that we like to listen to, like there was no twists or anything clever in this. It was just kind of that old timey thing without any of the bells and whistles.
Just a guy trying to convince his wife that she needs to have sex with him. That's all he's trying to do. That's the whole issue. So.
Anti-married with children.
I need a son, damn it. So, all right, there it is, the Phantom. What do you got for us next week, Jay?
All right, well, I figured I would continue off of your lead here, and we would ignore the advice of TLC, and we'll go chasing those waterfalls to the rivers and lakes that we're used to, which would be Marvel and DC. So we're going to go to Aardvark Vanheim Comics and talk about one of the longest running creator-owned independent comics, Cerebus.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to do issue number 57 of Cerebus.
You know what year this is?
This looks like it was 1983.
83. Yeah, Cerebus, we've talked about him on the show. Like we did an Aardvark Vanheim book before. Do you remember what it was? Yeah, because I remember I gave the history of the company and everything. And we talked about Cerebus. What could it possibly have been?
Cerebus. Was it Dave Sims? Was he the one who wrote it?
No, but it was that publisher because I did all the research because I learned about him and his wife and they split and that was contentious, right? And all that stuff. But shoot. Well, it had to be some minor book, right? So
yeah. I don't know.
We'll figure it out for next week.
Yeah.
Research.
Sure it'll pop up.
Yeah. I mean,
this thing ran for 30 years and then I think they also did a follow-up, like Cerebus in Hell or something, even after it ended. So that's cool.
When I was growing up in comic book stores and stuff, I'd always see this, but I have no concept of it. I don't know what it is exactly. What's the point? It's just a little warthog guy or an aardvark?
It's a little aardvark guy. I think it's somewhat of a parody of Conan the Barbarian, but a very kind of social satire-y kind of bend to it.
Okay.
So yeah, it could be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, good to learn about that. All right, so next week, Cerberus issue 57 from 1983. And again, if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We appreciate the support. And until next week, don't get any jank on you.